I find this subject such an important subject. What I want to do is make you aware of the fact that I'm going to provide you with 4 links at the end of this video. I'm also going to give you a lot of information that I think is going to make you a happy individual, because it's going to show you how you can develop different aspects of excitement and enthusiasm where they become so contagious they become infectious, and that way your prospect or your customer is going to be a very happy individual, and you as a salesperson will be just as happy as well. Hello, this is Peter Collins with another sales tip for the professional salesperson. In fact, I'm going to call this a super sales tip, and I've titled this particular module, Begin Standing Out, You Superseller Salesperson. At the turn of the 21st century, and I'd better add that it was the 21st century for some of those that still swipe at me for my senior years, that I created the word superseller relating to the top end of the salespeople. And at about that time, I also wrote this about the subject. Superseller salespeople follow this one rule and apply it to everything they do. And that rule is stop blending in and start standing out. Yes, stop blending in and start standing out. And the sooner you start applying that one factor in your life, in your selling career, and in everything that you do, you'll stop blending in. And the minute you start standing out, you'll see there'll be a difference in your approach to your selling, a difference in your approach to your clients, and a difference to your income. Now, I'm so glad that I did that video a little while ago regarding excitement and enthusiasm, because in truth they are both contagious, they're both infectious, and they should be part of every salesperson's arsenal. You know, you feel terrific once you start to sell as a salesperson, and the more you sell, the more terrific you feel, the more excited you become, the more enthusiastic you become. Now, I've had a closing rate of in excess of 90% for decades, and I'm talking for over 30 years. My closing rate was 92%. That was the average. And I was more contagious, more infectious because of my excitement and my enthusiasm more than anybody else in the companies that I worked for or with the people that I worked with. And the interesting thing is that excitement and enthusiasm can be kept going. And what I want to do now is I want to provide you with what I did beyond that that made my selling so special. The first thing I would do is I would personalize every call that I made, whether it was to a prospect or to an existing customer. And I'd do some research on the company. I'd find out something which was interesting, and I would then bring it to the person that I was working with. I'd personalize it to the point. It wouldn't matter whether it was something to do with the company or the individual person there. They may have achieved something special. I'd make it a point of letting them know. And you know what? They were so happy to talk about it. And the more they talked about it, the closer the prospect or the customer and I got, and the more likely they were to buy from me. The second thing I want to bring to your attention is to show. Now, all of us in selling know that we shouldn't tell, we should always sell. But a lot of people don't talk about the demonstration of something that they appreciate of value to them. You see, there are certain things that people want when you're presenting to them. They want solutions. And once you can start showing them the solution to whatever you've got, it'll bring up their interest level. you should also demonstrate as much as you can that solution. Now, whether you do it with a piece of paper in front of them, or whether you do it through a presentation manual, or do it from some sort of video demonstration, whichever way you do that, you need to not only keep their interest, but to hold their interest. And one of the things that I've always done is, once I do something or work on something that I can now demonstrate that will be a solution to whatever challenges they're facing, I will then either handwrite the solutions in bullet point form, or I'll print them out in bullet point form, and I'll mix that into what I'm doing with the presentation, with whatever else I've got to present, with whatever documents I've got to bring to the table, whatever brochures. And a lot of them will want to keep that for after whatever they've bought, because they then use that as a way of communicating the benefits they're going to get to their other staff or family members. The third thing is the use of snail mail. Now, something people don't think about. Today, we're obsessed with emails and SMSs. I think they're totally impersonal. I don't like the idea of somebody sending me an SMS or an email, because all it is one-sided. They're trying to push their point of view onto me. And whenever I send an email to somebody else, I'm doing the same to them. I would prefer to pick up the phone and to actually consolidate the conversation, get over the conversation quickly, get over the points very quickly, come to an agreement, and then move on. Now, there's something special about handwriting. I believe anybody that writes a letter is going to get 100% response. Anybody that puts a brochure in the mail with a handwritten note, that's something that's not expected. And again, I believe it'll have 100% readership. You're not going to get that with emails. You're not going to get that with SMSs, because in a lot of cases, they're an imposition. And the fourth thing that I do is I work on an after-sales process. Now, most people know about how companies help people with after-sales events, after-sales help, after-sales whatever. Well, I take it a step further, because after they've taken delivery of the product or the service, I make a phone call asking them if I can help them get started. Now, a lot of people will thank me for doing that, because they all of a sudden found themselves floundering, or was just a little bit beyond their capability to be able to get started effectively. And once I get them up and running, I'll make another phone call a couple of weeks later just to see how they're progressing, or even a month later. Now, sometimes people actually still don't get the hang of what they should be getting the hang of. So in that case, I'll actually link them with somebody that can help them beyond what I can, either in the company or otherwise. And sometimes I've actually gone back to my referrer, if there is a referrer, and get them to help them go back and understand what to do with that product or service. Now, any one of those 4 points, once you start bringing them to their attention, will bring in excitement, will bring in enthusiasm. It's their excitement, their enthusiasm, because you're talking about things, first up, number one, that are personalized. Secondly, you're talking about solutions for their challenges. The third is snail mail. Very personal way of actually communicating away from emails and SMSs. And the fourth is helping them get started in whatever product or service that you've actually brought them to appreciate and become a customer of. Not hard to do, but remember, every one of those points will bring out excitement. They'll bring out enthusiasm, not just on your part, but on their part as well. And it's such an important issue in the selling process.